Well, hello. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for your interest in the F.A.R.M strategy retreat that we have coming up April 24th and 25th. My name is David Swisher, and my wife and I co-pastor the Wesleyan Church near Delphos, Kansas. And I've had a lot of people ask me what this F.A.R.M strategy retreat is all about. So let me explain. Like many churches in our country, we've seen a decline in attendance. We've struggled to reach the next generation, and we know a lot of challenges are facing the church in the coming days. And it's hard for a church, especially a smaller rural church, to remain viable. Well, that's a situation very similar to what many of us out in the farming communities face. Grandpa passes the family farm on to Dad, and Dad builds it up and expands it and passes it on to us. And we want our kids to embrace the idea and take up the farm and run with it, get new equipment and expand the operation. And unfortunately, what often happens is the kids have no interest whatsoever. Maybe you've experienced that yourself. And if the kids do have an interest in running the family farm, sometimes they want to do things quite a bit different, and we're not so sure if we're comfortable with the plans that the kids have. So it creates some new challenges. Well, that's very similar to the situation that we're facing as a church, and that probably some other folks are as well. We haven't effectively reached the next generation. Our folks, our kids, our young people have moved off, and some of them have gone to new, contemporary, innovative churches that are doing some neat things. And those who have stuck around, they're not too excited about what we're doing. It might be mom and dad's style of worship, and it might be mom and dad's way of doing things, but it's not really for them. And so we're going to be talking honestly and openly about what do we need to do to create an environment where the young people not only tolerate coming to church, but where they look forward to coming to church, where they want to take an active part, not just in coming, but even potentially becoming leaders. We think that's possible here. We know that the young people are the future, and we want to do something proactively about it. So we're not experts ourselves, but we've talked to some who are, and one of those is Steve McVeigh. He's a pastor in Lamont Wesleyan Church in Little Lamont, Kansas, population of about 40. Easter Sunday this year, they ran 10 times that. That's about 400. Typically, they run in the 300s. So in the last 7 years, in a very, very rural community, not too much different than just like we have out here in the middle of the country, 2 miles off the highway. In a context just like that, Steve has managed to take a small congregation and build up a ministry that's thriving. And his congregation has children and teenagers and young people and college and career age, and still keeps the older generation around as well. So Steve is doing something right. We've asked him to come and share with us some insights to tell his story about what's happening there in Lamont, what they've done to connect those different generations, what changes we might need to look at and consider to make here at Hall, and to give us some advice and help us work through it. I've scheduled basically an evening worship and a rally time with Steve on a Friday night. That follows after a dinner that we're providing. And then the following morning on Saturday, we're going to have some worship time again. After breakfast, we'll have a couple workshops. We're going to spend some time in discussion groups talking about this. You know, what did Steve say and how did this work in Lamont? What do we need to do here? And so I think it's going to be a great time of learning and growth, and really taking a good, close look at ourselves, assessing where we are and what we're doing and what we need to be doing, and see where we can go from here. I think the church here at Hall has potentially a very bright future, but somehow we've got to sit and talk through the hard stuff of what needs to change. So that's what it's all about. If you are somebody who's in North Ottawa County, if you're familiar with the ministry of Hall Wesleyan Church and you want to be a part of this, give us a call. Send me an email. Our address is halldelphos.pastor@gmail.com. You can get to that address from our YouTube channel here, or from, you found us from the website, and let us know that you plan to come so we can make sure we have enough food and resources, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. And if you know somebody else who'd be willing to pray, pass on the word. We'd like to have a good turnout, and we'd like to have everyone taking our needs to the Father and seeking His blessing. So thanks for stopping by, and it's good to see you. We'll look forward to having you come on April 24th and 25th. Thanks.